I am not making my own crust because I'm trying. Remember, the whole thing behind all these cooking videos is that it has to be quick, it has to be easy, and it has to be yummy. And so I'm doing the best of all three. And of course, I have to have it, you have to have it, and there you go. All right, so we're gonna start with the pie crust. So again, I'm using store-bought pie crust. They come 2 to a package in a little roll. They're all rolled up. You roll them out, right? Oh, hello to the dog. Hello to the dog. So I've already used half, so they come in a round. And I've cut mine in half because I used half already and baked so you can see the final project or final product. And so we're gonna use this. We're gonna use a little butter, and then we're gonna use some cinnamon and sugar. Your cinnamon and sugar mixture, I've already mixed it up right here. Good morning, Lisa. Or maybe it's afternoon where you are, I'm not certain. Your cinnamon and sugar mixture, if you're looking for a good ratio, is 1 to 4 or 4 to 1, depending on the order that you put this in. So if you want an easier one and about what I used a 1/4 cup of granulated white sugar and a teaspoon of cinnamon. So that's my mixture right here. 1/4 cup of white granulated sugar and a teaspoon of cinnamon. And then you just give it a little stir so it's all mixed together. Yummy cinnamon toast. How many of you, when you were growing up, this was my favorite breakfast. My mom would get white bread, right? And she would put butter on it, and then she would sprinkle cinnamon sugar on it and put it in the oven and under the broiler, because, you know, we didn't have a toaster oven. There was no such thing as microwaves when I was growing. Wait, there was, but it was towards the end. Anyway, and you wouldn't microwave cinnamon toast. Anyway, so you should put it in the oven, and then cinnamon toast in the morning. You couldn't buy cinnamon toast back then. You had to just make it. So there we go. Okay, so that's our mixture. And then I've also melted some butter. Just a little butter melted, yummy. Now, I'm going to use a pastry brush. See, pastry brush. This is the Pampered Chef one. That being said, if you do not have a pastry brush, the other option for you is just to use a spoon and spoon a little of the butter and then use the back of the spoon to spread it around on your crust. Now, you don't have to roll out. Remember, I said, you do not have to get out. No, there's never too much butter. Good morning, Larissa. You never have to roll this stuff out. I didn't want you to get your rolling pin out. So again, I'm gonna use the pastry brush, but if you don't have one, just get a spoon and spoon a little butter on there and then use the back of the spoon to spread it out, okay? So using my butter, I'm just gonna cover the entire pastry crust, right? And remember, I cut mine in half because I used the other half already. Okay, so that was easy and that was quick. Now we take our cinnamon and sugar mixture. Remember, a 1/4 cup white granulated sugar and a teaspoon of cinnamon, okay? And now, again, you can use a spoon to do this. You can shake it out of your bowl. I'm just gonna use my fingers, and we're just, and I'm not certain there's too much cinnamon sugar either. Lisa just said there's no such thing as too much butter. I'm kind of in agreement with that. This is a good recipe if you have kids or grandkids that are with you, because, I mean, they might get a little messy, make, you know, sugar and cinnamon everywhere, but really, who cares, right? You can clean that up. There will be yumminess. Okay, that's it. Woo-ha. All right, now, you could bake it this way, but then you've got like either a round or a half round, and that's no good. Hi, Cassie. Oh, my daughter's watching. Hi, Amisha. How are you doing? All right, so we have the butter and we have the cinnamon and sugar. Now, this is why I say your kids could do this, because you don't even need a knife. I'm going to use my pizza cutter. So, right? And so the kids could do this. And you can cut it any way you want to. You can cut it long ways. Like I said, you've got a round. So you could cut it in half and then do long strips, or you can do short strips. I'm just going to do shorter strips. Okay, I hope I don't move you. And so, really, that's it is. You don't really even care. Do I care that they're even? No. No, I do not care that they're even. Okay, ta-da, we cooked it. Now, I have a baking sheet with a piece of parchment paper on here. Why? Because I'm lazy. And lazy girl doesn't want to have to wash her cookie sheet or sheet pan when she gets done. So lazy girl gets the piece of parchment paper and puts it on there. Then when we're done, I go whoosh, throw that away and put the sheet pan away. Yay! Okay, because I'm lazy. All right, so now taking the pieces that we did, and you're just gonna set them. Let me see if I can do this where you can see. So I'm just gonna lay them out on the parchment paper. Or if you're not lazy like me, you can just set them on your cookie sheet. Okay? Easy peasy. So my mom, you know, she would make the homemade pie crust. And then with whatever pie crust was left over, because, you know, she would make it fit on the top of the pie pan. And then whatever was left over, because you cut around the edge, and so there was all that, you know, little left over from what you cut off around the edge, she would re-roll that out and then do the butter and cinnamon sugar and put it in the oven. And that was the treat for my sister and I. Okay, so that's what it looks like. We're going to put it in the oven. I have it at 325. You can do 350. Just keep an eye on it. And when you say, well, how long? Really, 5 or 10 minutes. Not very long. You're just looking for them to brown up. And so that's all you have to do. So that goes in the oven. But, ta-da! Just like on TV. Just like on TV. Look, here's some that are already made. So, as you can see, now they're crispy. They don't fall. Okay, look. Yummy goodness. Mmm, yum. Okay, so we have to taste. Mmm. 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 It's my childhood. And a bite. Mm. Okay, so we have all those for the kids. Mm. There you go. We're going to set these aside. Mm. Mm, 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 mm. Good. Hello, Cheryl. Pie cookies. I never knew about that. Hi, Janet. Hi, Camille. Hi, Linda. Mmm. Pie cookies. I didn't know that. Mm. Mm, mm, mm. Hold on. Cup of coffee. Hold on. Mm. Okay. Pie cookies are a little dry for Mama this early in the morning. Mmm. You got your coffee? Mmm. Yummy. Mm-hmm. Now, because we already did cinnamon goodness, we're going to do a little bit more cinnamon goodness. Because really, that was like that. And you're like, that was it? No, that is not it. Because I was thinking about cinnamon, I had another option. Because I bought a bag last week of apples. And not everybody's eating all the fruit. Although fruit and vegetables seem to be like available at the grocery stores. So, you know, that's why I'm trying to think of things that you could use. But anyway, so I had 5 apples in a bag. I bought the bag of Gala, however you say it, apples. But quite frankly, you can use Red Delicious. You can use any kind you want. Pink Ladies. Trying to think of other kind of apples. All kinds of apples. Not certain I would use the green apples. Green apples are much tartar. You want to use tartar. Not like tartar on your teeth, but tart. Ooh, tart. More tart. You want to use the sweet apples, not the tart apples. Okay? So what I did is I took my 5 apples. I used my handy dandy peeler and I peeled off the skin of the apple. Then I chopped the apple up. See? Little diced. Little dices. I chopped the apple. So that's 5 apples in there. Because I did it a little bit ago while I was prepping everything, because you know, with all this sugar, I'm going to move this because it's got cinnamon sugar all over it. With all the sugar that they have in it, as soon as the apples hit the air and that sugar is exposed to the oxygen, ooh, science, I should get my daughter in here and have her tell us the science of this, they start to turn brown. I'm going to need that again. That's what I put there. Anyway, so they start to turn brown. So all you have to do is put a little lemon juice on it. Not a whole lot, like I did. Squirt, 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 and then mixed it all together. Fresh lemon is great if you have a fresh lemon. I didn't, but I had a squirty bottle. So you just squirt a little bit of lemon, and then they won't turn brown. Now, this is just as easy as what Cheryl called pie cookies. I had no idea. We never called them pie cookies. Anyway, we're gonna need some brown sugar. Now, there are two types of brown sugar. There's light brown sugar and there's dark brown sugar. You can use either, whatever you have in your pantry. Dark brown sugar happens to have more molasses in it, which is why it's darker, which makes it, to me, ooey gooey, yummy. So I'm using the dark brown, but if all you have is light brown, that's fine. I'm using the exact same measurements I used when we did our cinnamon and sugar. I'm going to use a quarter cup of brown sugar. No, because I'm feeling a little naughty. 5 apples. We're going to use a half a cup. Really? Is there too much thing as brown sugar? It's like the butter, right? Brown sugar, butter. Okay, so I'm using a half a cup. Great math lesson, right? She said a quarter cup, and now she's doubling it. See? 1/4 plus 1/4 equals 1/2. All right. I put this in the, it has a zippy on it, but I always put it in a bag, just so. Keeps everything fresh. Okay. Now we're going to need some cinnamon in here. Cinnamon, right? We're going to use, I got to open the big end. This is my little handy dandy container that I keep my cinnamon in. Ground cinnamon. Ooh. Tablespoon. And really, we don't want to do more than a tablespoon of cinnamon in there. Because, you know, everybody thinks of cinnamon and they go, oh, cinnamon is wonderful and sweet. When in fact, most of the time you think that because everything, well, most things made with cinnamon actually have been added, had sugar added to it. Good morning, Debbie. So, when you add the sugar, whether it's brown sugar or white granulated sugar, well then yes, the cinnamon is all sweet. But it's very pungent. It's a spicy spice. And you will find it in a lot of Middle Eastern cooking, Indian cooking. Indian cooking uses a lot of cinnamon and nutmeg. And there's no sweetness to that at all. Anyway, okay, so now we have to give it a toss. I would use my fingers. But I did that with the lemon juice, and then when I got done, my hands were like all sticky sweet. Okay, so we're going to give this a toss. Now, you have an option here. If you want to make this even more ooey gooey, there's a word, ooey gooey, you can add a little bit of butter. So let's say maybe a tablespoon. Let's see. Okay, you don't need it. And why don't you need it? I just put it in there for a little flavor. But you don't need it because all of the sugars from the apple are going to melt out. They're going to ooze out. And then the brown sugar is going to melt. And the cinnamon into the brown sugar. And then the apple yumminess and the brown sugar cinnamon yumminess are going to meet. And they're going to meld. And it is going to be awesome. Your mouth is going to be so excited. Okay, so I've just given this a big toss, and quite frankly, you would have never known I put brown sugar in there. It just looks like cinnamon sugar, doesn't it? Okay, look. That's what it looks like. Ooh, yum, yum. Now, you can bake in these bowls. This is Polish pottery, and it's a bowl, and I just mixed it. And I could actually stick this in the oven, cover it with foil, and bake it just like this. But I got another new, remember I was telling you yesterday my Polish pottery order came in and this was in it and I was so excited. Isn't that beautiful? Well, this was the other thing that came in it, my new one, and it's red. It's like a solid red. Isn't that beautiful? And it's very different because, you know, a lot of Polish pottery has flowers or, you know, little floral designs. And I just loved this. Love! So I'm going to put my apples in here. But before I do that, I'm going to give you one other option. because I think this is cool too. Now, you may need to use ramekins if you have a ramekin, small baking bowls or, you know, small dishes. But because, like I said, all this Polish pottery just goes right into the oven. Doesn't matter if it's a bowl or anything. I'm using, these are just 2 little bowls. Hi, Tamara. 2 little bowls. Okay? And there's what I'm going to do. First, before I add anything, I am going to take my other, this was my other pie crust. Okay? I'm going to take my other pie crust and roll out. Then I'm going to take my bowl. I'm going to flip it upside down. Do I need to? Yeah, I'm going to get the knife. And then just cut a circle all the way around the bowl. Okay? Probably, if I pressed hard enough, it would have been fine. Okay. Ta-da! Okay, I'm moving this back over there. And now, look at that. I have a little baby pie crust. Oh, baby pie crust. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. Now, if you have a ramekin, you're going to need to spray the inside of your ramekin. Polish pottery doesn't stick, so I'm not spraying. All right, so I'm just going to fill my little, I'm just going to put a little bit in my bowl. See? In my bowl. Yay. And then I'm going to take my pie crust and I'm going to put it on the top. Now, you could wet down like the edge of your bowl, and if you made this bigger, then it would sit on the outside. I don't want that. I want it to sit inside. I'm going to show you what I'm doing. Okay, so I just poked it on there, set it on there, and then I pushed it down with my fingers. So look right here. It's almost created like a little crust on the side. There, see? Cool, huh? Okay, now, just because we're gonna decorate it up, I'm gonna take my butter, oh, that was melted and is now turning into crusty stuff. Okay, and I'm just gonna brush the top with butter, or use your spoon if you don't have a brush. And then I'm gonna take my cinnamon sugar that I was using for my pie cookies, right? And I'm gonna put a little of that on top because, again, it's cinnamon day, okay? A little bit of that. And then we're just gonna take our knife and we're gonna do a little slit. I always do a cross. I don't know why, because my mom did probably. There we go. A little slit in there. And look, individual pies. Ta-da! Individual little apple pies. Okay, so so that's how that is. I'm gonna do one more of these just because I think I'm gonna use that in just a sec. I just think that's cool. I'm only doing 2 of these so you can see the other one. Where did my pie crust go? So the other option, I'm gonna show you the other option. If you wanna get really creative, I don't want to get really creative, but in case you do, okay? I'm going to take this little scrappy piece, and I'm just going to cut some strips, okay? Strip, 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 strip. I don't know how many I need. With my handy-dandy pizza cutter. And then I'm going to just lay them. I'm going to show you just a second. We could make a little lattice. Do I want to do that? It would be prettier. Let me see if I have enough. I need my friends here who are handy-dandy, like creative people, you know, that tell me up, over, and around. Up, over, and around. You know how to do lattice, right? So I'm just going to do three pieces. We'll see how this looks. It's not going to be pretty. If you were looking for pretty, this isn't going to be it. Okay. So here's what I did. I'll have to lift it up and show you. I could have moved the camera, but I did not. Okay, hold on. I'm getting there. Okay. Smush. Okay, so this is what I created. Can you see that? I just made a little crissy-crossy thing. In, out, in, out. And then I'm going to set it on top. You can see. Hold on one second. You can do a much better job than I. See? See? Now that looks pretty too. So you could do that. And then again, we're going to brush with butter. Butter, butter, butter. And then top with the cinnamon and sugar. and then that'll go in the oven and bake too. So 2 options for your little bitties, or a big one. That one just has a solid crust with a little slit in it, and that one has little lattice work. Yay! Okay. Or you say, well, that's way too much work. I don't want to do any of that. Good for you. I'm going to use my handy dandy baking dish. Any baking dish that you have is fine. I'm going to pour the rest of our apples that are just yummy. And already there's juice. You can see already juice because those apples fell in love, I tell you, with the brown sugar and the cinnamon. And they just want to be one big happy family. Okay, so I'm smushing down. If you wanted another option for you, if you really like, my family doesn't, but if you really like raisins, especially golden raisins, you could add a big handful of golden raisins to this mixture, and then you would have apples and raisins. So that would be a good thing to put in here as well. Now, there you go. That's it. That's all you have to do. So you bake these, cover them with foil, put them in the oven, 325. Bake them for about 20 minutes. And I say 20 minutes because do you see how small I cut them? I diced them up. You might want to be pretty and slice them into half slices or half moons. The thicker your slice, the thicker your cut, the longer it will take. So when it comes around, take your knife or a fork and stick it in an apple. If the apple sticks to it, it's not done, right? Apple is not coming off. That means it is not done. So then you put it back in the oven. If you stick it in and the apple falls off, then it's done. So again, just like this, or you could put a crust on this like we did the other ones. So now how do you serve it? Well, first of all, this is just yummy goodness all by itself. And you could pretend healthiness. Remember how I always said this is not the healthy food cooking show? Well, it's not, but it's an apple. And so I'm going with healthy apple. I don't know. However, how cool if you have a container of vanilla ice cream. And if you're in Texas, homemade Bluebell vanilla. Okay, so if you have Bluebell ice cream, this comes out all warm and bubbly and yummy. And you take and you put that in the bottom of the bowl, and then you put a big old dollop of vanilla ice cream, and then you take one of your little pie cookies and you put that in the side. People will think you're a chef. They'll be going, how did you learn to do that? You are so smart. That looks phenomenal. So then you have your pie cookie and your apple. So you could certainly do that. If you're like me and you've made this early in the morning or earlier in the afternoon and you've taken it out of the oven and it's cooled and you still want to be like the queen, take a bowl, well, your bowl, whatever bowl you're going to put your ice cream in. That seems rather small for ice cream, but oh, this is perfect. Look how low it is. And so when it comes out of the oven, perfect dollop of ice cream on top. I like this idea. This is good. Yum. Okay. And so with this one, even though it has a crust, look, see, you've got room. You put your ice cream on there, and then you've got crust and apple. If you put raisins in there, you have that and your ice cream. Oh, so good. So that's good. But anyway, so you've made this in the afternoon. Take it and put it in a bowl and stick it in the microwave for a few minutes. Give it a stir. Now it's warm again, and now you put your ice cream on and eat it that way. I'm thinking this is very healthy. I'm thinking about the food pyramid from when I went to school, and we have fruit, we have bread, and if we put ice cream on there, we have some dairy. Oops, we have dairy. So we have fruit, bread, and dairy. I'm telling you, we are working the food pyramid. Anyway, so that's it. Wow, short, sweet, and to the point. I try to make all these like 30 minutes, right around 30 minutes or 30 minutes or less. Anyway, apple pie a la mode. There you go. Good morning, Tony. And so that's it. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So all we made our pie crust cookies or our pie cookies, as Cheryl called them. All we did is roll out our dough, put a little butter, cinnamon, and sugar, and bake them. And then if you grew up with a mother that made homemade pie crust, you will be transformed to your childhood. After we made those, we just peeled and diced up our apples, mixed together cinnamon and white granulated sugar, and put that all together in a bowl. Our options, after we bake this, our options are not a big container like this, but instead smaller ramekins. These are, you don't want to use whatever bowls you have in your pantry unless you have Polish pottery. But Polish pottery can go in the microwave, the dishwasher, the oven, the freezer. It goes everywhere. That's why I'm using these. If you just don't use your regular cereal bowls in the oven, that will be bad. Use ramekins if you want to do this. But anyway, then we did little ones. We did one with a full crust with a little cross in the middle. Top was butter and cinnamon sugar. And this one we did a little lattice work on top of our apples. And we're gonna serve them piping warm with a big old dollop of vanilla ice cream and one of our pie crust cookies in there. Ah! So there you go. Craig would love it. Should I or shouldn't you? You should. You should be there. Linda, you should do it. Make Craig happy. I agree with Cheryl. Anyway, so there we go. Keep safe. I think we're all going to gain 12,000 pounds during our quarantine. But you know what? We'll be happy. So there you go. Have a great day, and I will see you guys tomorrow. If you have ideas or you have ingredients in your pantry and you want to know what to do with them, give me a shout out, and I'll try to come up with something for you. Have a great day. Bye.